Asia Hogan Rochester.
York University. Get rocked.
Ooh, she's already smacked on here. You gonna take that? Welcome back to The U, where we're talking everything U sports. This week, it's all about women's rugby. In studio today, we have two members of the national team, Tyson Beukeboom, as well as Taylor Perry. But before we get to all that rugby, we gotta go to some highlights from U Sports that happened over the Thanksgiving long weekend. We want to show you this amazing 85-yard touchdown run from Western Mustangs' Ethan Dolby. He broke a 34-year-old record for the most rushing yards in a season in Mustangs history. That record was previously held by Tim Tyndale, who went on to play for the Buffalo Bills. Dolby is currently leading U Sports in rushing yards this season, averaging 174.3 yards a game, and also leading rushing touchdowns with 14. Joining me in studio now is two national team players in Tyson Beukeboom as well as Taylor Perry. You guys are fresh off of your world silver medal. Congratulations. You guys had to go up against one of the Goliaths of the sport in England. But I want to ask you some questions to go back to your U Sports days. Now, I was actually just in Kingston. I know you're from Queens. You hail from that program over there, and you for St. FX, or St. Francis Xavier, in other words. And I just wanted to dive right in. When you think about your time back in U Sports, you know, it's kind of a feeder system to the national team. You guys have a lot of teammates that played in U Sports. How has your time with Queens and yours with St. Francis Xavier prepared you for the national team and the world stage?
Yeah, it's a massive part of how we get players up to the national team right now. It's the main way of identifying players, and it's also our main way of developing. Yeah. Like, as soon as you're out of high school, you're finally like woman, I guess, and you're actually like putting on muscle for the first time, putting on speed, and you're in a university environment that kind of supports you to go to the next level and have the skills that you need and the strength that you need in order to go for the national team.
Yeah, and most of us, we try to go to there's a couple programs across the country that are super successful at the moment, and trying to put ourselves in the best position on the best teams. It also puts us in a position to kind of feel what it's like to be in national championships and get into those big games, high pressure situations, so that we get to also just build a little bit of experience under pressure and having to perform with the stress and the and not as big a crowds, but still some decent sized crowds, and just, yeah, it's a great way to push ourselves and kind of prep ourselves to be national level players.
Okay, that's amazing. You know, okay, so if I reminisce a little bit on my own days as a university athlete, which is feels long ago. Let me tell you, these knees are not getting any younger.
Probably not as long ago as it was for me.
When you think back, though, especially with U Sports, what were some of your favorite memories? I know for mine, it was like on the bus, at the hotels, at the games, but what have been for you?
Pretty much every day on Nixon Field makes a great memory. We have the best sunsets there. Bias, I guess. But usually at the end of every single training, we're all hanging out on the field, and like there's an amazing sunset, or we walk down to the lake and go swimming as a team afterwards.
Someone asked me this the other day, and I think it's just the relationships that you build. I'm still really good friends with some of my teammates, and just the 4 years that you spend together, like you're battling together and building that relationship and just ultimately having fun, sometimes too much probably, but you went down to the beach. We went to Piper's Pub.
Okay.
You know, same, wing nights.
Are you two ready to play some trivia?
Of course.
Yes.
All right, this is basically how well do you know your fellow national team teammates?
Okay.
You're going to name the Canadian universities that they attended.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Okay.
Nope. Okay.
You seem relaxed.
And the first person to name it
All right, I'm ready.
gets the point.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
she's like game mode, leaning in.
Let's go.
It's not gonna be like a
Asia Hogan Rochester.
York University.
Ooh. Ooh, she's already smacked on here. You gonna take that? Okay. McKinley Hunt.
Queens University. Gotta say the full name.
Alexandra Tessier.
Concordia.
Concordia.
There's another Quebec team though, now we have it.
Julia Schell.
Guelph
Guelph.
University.
Correct. Well. All right, Rachel Smith.
UBC.
Oh, that's a tie.
University of British Columbia.
I need an instant replay. Yeah, okay. The Thunderbirds. Thank you very much.
The Thunderbirds.
Courtney O'Donnell.
U of A.
Oh, nice.
Got it. Yep. Okay. Letitia Royer.
Laval.
Sherbrooke.
Concordia?
Victoria.
Yeah. What other teams are in Quebec?
And then we have Florence Simmons.
UBC.
Yeah. U Sports Rugby is heavily underway, and to provide some insights on what's happening, we got CBC sports reporter Signa Butler joining us all the way via Zoom from Halifax. Signa, how are you?
I am so good, Savanna. I am happy to be here. I'm pumped for this U Sports show that you guys have on the go, and glad to be a part of it.
All right, run me through it. Which rugby teams are standing out to you right now?
Well, if you go by the U Sports rankings right now, you've got Queens at the top, you've got Laval number 2, and you've got Victoria at number 3. All of them undefeated on the season this year, so they're looking pretty good. You've also got Guelph sitting in 4th. They've got 1 loss on the year. I can't talk about UBC because they're the defending U Sports champions. They're sitting in 5th in terms of the rankings, only 1 loss on the year. And then St. Avex rounding out that top 6, unbeaten on the year with 5 wins and a draw. So lots of contenders as we move towards the U Sports championships.
Okay, we got to keep an eye on Ottawa then. Signa, are there any star players that are standing out to you right now?
Just purely statistics wise, but also because of their resume, you have to look at Lizzie Gibson from Queens. This year leading the U Sports in terms of statistics, 157 points, 11 tries, 102 kicking points. So definitely a star, and has been since they came into the Gales program. They were the U Sports Rookie of the Year back in 2019. They won Player of the Year in 2022, and just a perennial All-Canadian. So Lizzie Gibson for sure, keep an eye on. And in terms of the tries leaders, you've got Jessie Penny from St. Avex, 13 tries this season, a 3rd-year prop out of Newfoundland, starring for them. And Edia Pai from UBC, 13 tries as well. So they're the tries leader in the country. Again, a 3rd-year wing. She's from Victoria, BC. So lots of strong players across U Sports.
You know, we got to talk about Florence Simmons. She was on that World Cup team this year, just silver medal just a couple weeks ago. She plays for UBC. She's active in U Sports. What type of experience does playing at the world stage give her in U Sports now?
Oh, big game chops, Savanna. Florence Simmons is the one to watch. She's just 23. You mentioned the World Cup that she was most recently starring at, winning that silver medal. She's already got 18 caps for country. Not only that, but she was a member of the Paris 2024 Rugby Sevens team that won a silver medal. So you have a player like that on your team, practicing game in and game out. That only rubs off on the rest of the team. So certainly a player of excellence that you have to keep an eye on this year.
Signa, it's very interesting because typically sports at the U Sport level do not feed into the national team as often, but rugby is a bit of the exception to the rule. Can you kind of go into that a little bit as to why that is?
Yeah, rugby is huge in terms of a feeder system into the national program. You look at the most recent World Cup in the 15s, 29 of the 32 members have U Sports connections, played at U Sports schools. That is phenomenal. And they're not just from one program, it's from a variety of different programs across the country from coast to coast. So I would say from a comparative perspective, maybe men's and women's volleyball draw some U Sports athletes, but nothing to the proportion that we see the rugby program draw from.
Queens and Laval are typically programs that are always on top. What do you got for me there?
Ooh, well, 2 very well-supported athletic programs, I gotta say, Queens and Laval. But I mean, you look at student populations, the Queens draws about, 20,000, almost 30,000 students into their population. Laval's got almost 50,000. So that's just the population you're drawing from. But both of them obviously great undergraduate and postgraduate schools. So very attractive for an athlete to go to.
All right, Signa, what are some upcoming postseason matchups that you're keeping an eye out for?
It is nitty-gritty time for the playoffs right now. So semifinals are on deck. Canada West goes first. They're on Thursday. You got a couple matchups. That's Lethbridge against UBC. You've got Victoria, and they're taking on the University of Alberta. So trying to book their tickets. Obviously, UBC is the host of nationals, so they'll automatically get a berth. But those are big play downs. On Friday, OUA, the semifinals there. You've got Brock taking on Guelph, Laurier taking on Queens. And Queens, if you've been following the Gales this season, they have got all the vibes going on and off the pitch. You can tell that they really enjoy each other's company and trying to get people to come out and watch them play. As for the RCQ, I'm looking forward to this one on Saturday. It's Ottawa against Laval. Ottawa, their only loss in the season, came against Laval. This is like a duke it out affair, so watch out for that one. And the AUS crown will be decided next Wednesday.
I'm glad that you touched on some key dates there. When can people tune into the championship, though?
Oh, end of October. So spooky time, Halloween time, October 29th to November 2nd. UBC is hosting, so it's going to be at Thunderbird Stadium out in Vancouver. All of those matches on CBC Gem, cbcsports.ca. But you'll see 11 matches over 5 days, and it's going to be hotly contested. I think if I'm going at looking at a lot of these favorite programs across all of U Sports, I think rugby, women's rugby is like very tight.
Signa, thank you so much for joining us.
Anytime, Savanna.
Thank you for joining us this week on The U. We are just getting started. We'll talk more rugby. We got some cross country coming up and some soccer. And speaking of soccer, both the men's and women's programs at UBC have gone undefeated this regular season, and there's only a couple of games left. The women's team has done something absolutely remarkable, and that is have 12 shutouts in 12 games. Are you kidding me? That's a new Canada West record. Next week, we got Arash Madani back in studio joining me to talk about football again, as we are very much on the road to Vanier Cup. Until next time, I'm Savanna Hamilton. Be great.